Hey guys, it is Michelle with C Code. We are back and we are going to be discussing something very important today. If you're new here, thank you for being here. And if you are a returner, I hope that you are getting a lot out of our breakdowns, our technical breakdowns, because today I got another one for y'all. Today we are talking about GitHub and branches. So I talk a lot about the importance of GitHub and why everybody in their DevOps journey needs to know, honestly, not even just your DevOps journey, but why everybody in general, software testers, systems engineers, cybersecurity, I don't know. Every single person kind of just in the development environment of how an application or how code gets somewhere needs to know GitHub. It's like the first thing to start off with. And one thing that I know that they don't teach because I never learned it in school. I kind of didn't even learn it in the workplace. I was just kind of expected to know it is branches in GitHub. Like you're just expected to know how to use GitHub. And yes, nobody really teaches you this. Nobody teaches you like, oh, hey, when you're starting off, here's your GitHub account, here's this, here's that. It's, did you push up the code? What branch are you on? Like that's just actually just where we start off with. What branch are you on? So I'm gonna break down what branches are in GitHub and why it's important to know. And kind of, you would learn this along in the beginning of your DevOps journey. So branches in Git is honestly, it's something that everybody uses, but it could be really confusing. You may hear on a team call somebody say, oh, create a branch. Oh, look on my branch. What branch are you on? And then you're just like, well, what is a branch? You also might hear somebody say like, oh, did you create a PR? Oh, have you checked my PR? And it's just like, these are key vocabulary that like nobody really explains when it comes to DevOps, when it comes to Git and whatever. So let's get into it. So what is a branch? A branch is really just a version of your code. So when you are in GitHub, there is your repo, right? Your company, you guys have a repo that does whatever, and it's your code base. And you don't want to work on it like directly in that main branch. A branch is just gonna be you're gonna make a copy of it so that you can work on it locally. Say you work at TikTok and you are working on the main branch or the code or whatever, and you were pushing up changes to that main code base, and all of a sudden something crashed, and you were like testing it out on that main code base that everybody else is using. It would be real messy. So instead, you have your code base and you will copy it locally. You will make your own copy so that you can work on it without affecting anybody else's code. So you can do whatever you want to do with it. You can add the changes here, you can delete things, you can do that, and it wouldn't affect me because I wouldn't be working on that same copy. And then once things are ready and once things are tested and approved and reviewed, then you would merge it back to the main copy that we all are using. So we all are branching at different points. We all are branching from the main copy of our project. And I want you to think about branching being important this way, right? If you had a big event and you wanted to figure out what you were gonna do to your hair or what you were gonna wear, what you were gonna do with your makeup, would you test on the day of the event? I know my friend always says, it's not time now for you to go and try a new makeup foundation the day of the party. You would go and do that beforehand. And the same way with branching, like you don't want to test your changes on the main project. And imagine if we were all testing those changes at the same time on the main project. So branching is important because if you had a big event, would you experiment on your final look or would you test things out beforehand? I know what I would do, but what would you do? Tell me in the comments. So we branch so that we don't break the main code. We branch so that we can test things out locally. We branch so that we can work independently. And we also just branch so that we can experiment. So like if there's a bug, if there's an idea that you have or whatever, you want to be able to work on that individually, independently, and then see like what this affects, test it out, and then be able to merge it back up in. This allows us all to work on so many different parts of our code base at the same time as well. So let's break this down a little bit more. You and I are working on the same project. You create a branch to work on a feature and I create a branch to work on a feature. So I call my branch feature Michelle task and you call yours feature your task, okay? We have two different branches. We're working on two different things, but it's all on the same code base, the same project. We both are now able to work on the same project individually, independently, in our own local environments. We're both able to test things in our own way. We're both able to add the new feature, the new capabilities in our own way. And then once we're done, we're both able to now push those changes back up to the main code base, to the main project. So now we're both able to add the changes that we made to the project. One really important thing that happens is, let's say you finish finish yours before I finish mine. So you went, you pushed yours up, it was approved, whatever. Now your branch was merged into the main branch. So now your changes are now added into the main project. But I'm still working on mine, and I had pulled mine before. I made a copy before you added your changes. So something that's very important is, as I'm working on mine, I'm now gonna say, oh, let me make sure I pull the latest changes from the main project, because your changes were now merged. So if I were not to pull it, then I would have an older copy of the main project. I hope that makes sense. Because remember, we both made our copy of the project at the same time, but you finished before me. So your code was then merged into the branch before mine was. So now my copy is a copy that is older without your changes. So what I would do is, while I'm still working on mine, I'm gonna pull down whatever changes were made between the time that I made the copy of my branch and now. And so now I have your changes as well inside mine, so that now when I'm ready to push mine up and merge my branch, there won't be any conflict. And that's just really just pulling the latest changes to my branch. But now I am like, okay, my branch is good. I tested out my changes. I'm ready to commit it. I'm ready to open up a PR. I'm ready for everybody to see the changes I made. So what I would do is then I would open up a PR, which is a pull request. It's saying, hey, I'm ready for my branch to be merged into the main branch. Now, why it's called a pull request, I never understood, because that used to always confuse me, because I don't know why. And then maybe somebody in the comments break it down. I probably can Google it. But why it's called a pull request has always been confusing to me. But that's what it is. When you're ready to merge your branch into the main branch, you open up a PR. And that's why I just be saying PR, because pull request is like, why is it called a pull request? Because we also pull from the branches, but whatever. I'm ready now to do a PR. I'm going to open up a PR. I put up the description, what I changed, blah, blah. And then I add reviewers. I add who are the stakeholders on my team, who this affects, and who I want to review my code. So that way they can review it before it actually gets merged into the main branch. So opening up a PR is basically just saying like, hey, here are my changes. Can you review them? And whoever has authority to merge them into the main project, can you merge them once we get enough reviewers on it? So the review is going to then be reviewed by the team, the stakeholders, whoever I add onto that review, and whoever has authority will then say, yes, this is good, let's merge it. And they'll merge it in. So then when I go to the main code base, I will then see my changes have now been applied and are there. And that is what branching is in GitHub. So the process is really simple. So let's review it. So you clone a repo and you create a branch. You can create the branch in the GitHub GUI, or on the terminal, you can say git checkout -b in the name of the branch that you want it to be called. So we'll say feature/Michelle, whatever. Okay. So you can either do it on the GUI or you can do it in the terminal. You make your changes locally. So whether you were fixing a bug, whether you were adding a new feature, whether you were just experimenting and adding an idea, you make those changes, you add the files, you delete the files, you do whatever it is that your changes are going to be doing. Once those are done, then you go and you commit it. You're like, hey, I'm ready to commit it to my branch. It's not committing it to the main branch, it's committing it to my actual branch. So you do a git commit -m and you say the message like, hey, I updated XYZ, I did this, and then you commit it. So now it's committed to your branch, and then you push it up to your branch. So you push it up so that it's not just local, but now you have it up in GitHub. So if you were to go on the GitHub website, you would be able to see your changes there on your branch. And then once you are done, you are like, hey, it's pushed up, I already tested it, blah, blah. You go open up your PR, you add a description, and you say, hey, I'm ready for this branch to be merged into the main branch, the main project. People review it. Once they're done reviewing it, they say, hey, this is great, great work. And then after they go and do that, then they're like, okay, we merged it in. So then you go and see that your branch has been merged in. You go and delete your branch, and you repeat the process all over again. So at a high level, branches let multiple people work on the same code base at the same time without breaking things. And Git tracks everything so they can be reviewed and then merged. I hope this makes sense. I hope this was helpful. And remember that everything is learnable. If this was helpful, I have a free DevOps roadmap in the description. Make sure you go check it out.